Have you ever stopped to wonder, why do humans cry tears? Not just cry as in feel extreme emotions, but actually produce these watery droplets that run down our faces when we're sad, happy, or even when we're chopping an onion. It seems so uniquely human, doesn't it? Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and emotional aspects of human biology, tears. And spoiler alert, it's not as simple as you might think. First, let's define tears. Strange as it may sound, tears are actually complex chemical cocktails. Our tears aren't just water. They're a combination of water, oils, mucus, and over 1,500 different proteins. These proteins serve different roles, from fighting bacteria to keeping our eyes lubricated. Without tears, your eyes would dry out, and you wouldn't be able to see clearly. Now here's the cool part. Did you know we produce 3 types of tears? They're called basal, reflex, and emotional tears. Basal tears are your everyday tears, produced around the clock to hydrate, nourish, and protect your eyes from constant exposure to air and debris. Even now, as you're watching this, basal tears are hard at work forming a thin protective film over your eyes. Then there are reflex tears. These are triggered when something irritates your eye, like smoke, dust, or, yes, the infamous onion. Have you ever wondered why onions make you cry? When you slice into an onion, it releases a substance called syn-propanethyl S-oxide, which mixes with the water in your eyes to form sulfuric acid. The acid irritates your eyes, and your body produces reflex tears to wash it away. It's like nature's way of saying, hey, protect those eyes. But here's what truly sets humans apart: emotional tears. Unlike basal and reflex tears, these are not about physical protection. They're triggered by how we feel. Whether it's sadness, joy, frustration, or an overwhelming sense of relief, emotional tears are your body's way of saying, I'm feeling something intense right now. And they aren't just for show. They actually contain stress hormones like cortisol, as well as natural painkillers like enkephalin. When you cry emotionally, your body is literally helping you process those feelings by carrying stress hormones out of your system. Amazing, right? And guess what? Emotional tears have unique chemical compositions. While basal and reflex tears share a lot of similarities, emotional tears have more protein-based hormones, including prolactin, which is also linked to emotional regulation. It's like your tears are sending out a chemical SOS. We need to process something here. Here's another fascinating twist. Crying isn't just a solitary activity. It's deeply social. Across cultures, crying communicates vulnerability, need, or even trust. Babies cry to signal their need for care, but adults cry too, often as a way to connect with others on a deeper level. Think about it. How many touching moments in movies or real life involve someone crying? Those tears can trigger empathy, creating emotional bonds and even strengthening relationships. But wait, have you ever considered why crying feels so good sometimes? You know, that sense of relief after a good, hard cry? That's because crying activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for relaxation and recovery. So when you have a heartfelt weeping session, it's like hitting the reset button on your emotional hard drive. Of course, not everyone cries the same way or even the same amount. Studies show women are generally more likely to cry than men, due to both societal norms and the influence of hormones like prolactin. Men's tears, by contrast, often go uncried due to cultural expectations of toughness and emotional stoicism. But scientists insist crying is healthy for everyone, regardless of gender. Holding back tears might even increase stress levels over time. Speaking of stress, did you know some animals cry too, but not for the same reasons as humans? Elephants and certain marine mammals let out tear-like secretions that help cleanse their eyes, but they haven't been found to cry over emotions. As far as we know, Humans are unique in combining emotional complexity with physical tears. Imagine a world where you couldn't cry at all. Strange, right? Now here's a curveball. Not everyone can cry. This condition, called alacrima, can result from a variety of medical issues, from Sjogren's syndrome to nerve damage. And while some may think not being able to cry is no big deal, it turns out crying is crucial for your emotional health. People with alacrima often report feeling emotionally bottled up, as if they're missing a vital outlet for expressing their feelings. And crying isn't always just sad, it can also be happy. Happy tears are triggered by what psychologists call emotional overflow. It's like your emotions max out, and your body has to find another way to release that energy. Ever cried at a wedding, or when you achieved something big? That's your brain hitting the overflow valve. Interestingly, emotional crying might not actually be something we're born doing. Babies cry to get attention, yes, but their early cries don't produce tears. Those come later, as their tear glands develop. Emotional crying, though? That doesn't fully kick in until we grow older and begin to understand our feelings in more complex ways. It's like a milestone of emotional growth. But why did humans evolve to cry emotionally in the first place? Biologists suggest it may have something to do with the way we've evolved as social creatures. Crying could have served as a non-verbal way to signal distress or need to others in your community. Hey, I'm not okay. Can someone help? It's a form of communication that predates language, and in that context, it's downright genius. In recent years, scientists have even studied how crying can boost our health. For instance, crying can lower your heart rate and reduce blood pressure. It helps regulate your emotions by balancing the levels of serotonin and dopamine in your brain. Who knew shedding a few tears could be so good for you? Still, in some cultures, crying is seen as a sign of weakness, while in others, it's a celebrated form of expression. This cultural division makes for a fascinating backdrop against which we examine human behavior. Regardless of where you live or what social norms you grew up with, one thing is clear. Crying is universally human, and it serves a deeper purpose than we often give it credit for. So the next time you find yourself tearing up, whether it's over a poignant movie scene, a personal loss, or even just while slicing an onion, remember this: your tears are a marvel of evolution, a biological and emotional toolkit designed to help you navigate life's highs and lows. And don't be afraid to let those tears fall. They're more than just water, they're a testament to what makes us human. So if you're feeling vulnerable, overwhelmed, or even joyful, embrace it. Because every tear tells a story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Why Facts.